A dimly lit bedroom, clothes everywhere, a half-finished makeup routine in the mirror, and one young woman staring at her phone, not posing, not perfect, just real. Before Alix Earle became one of the most influential forces in modern culture, there was a single quiet moment when she realized the flaw she'd spent years hiding was the key to her fortune. What no one saw then, not her audience, not her competitors, was her identity shifting beneath the surface. A shift powerful enough to dethrone the dynasty that invented modern influence. Stay with me, because by the end of this story, you won't just understand how she did it, you'll understand how influence really works, which is the same influence available to you. Imperfection versus perfection. This isn't a story about beauty, virality, or luck. It's a story about identity, the hidden internal wiring that quietly separates people who rise from people who don't. Alix Earle never tried to look like the Kardashians. She didn't sculpt perfection. She broadcasted chaos, acne, breakups, a bedroom that looked like a Category 3 hurricane. She didn't sell beauty. She didn't sell aspiration. She sold something rarer in the age of AI perfection: humanity. For years, the Kardashians defined influence: flawless presentation, sculpted aspiration, carefully built closeness. But when perfection fatigue set in, a new person emerged, someone who was messy, unfiltered, and painfully human. If you're the kind of person who wants to understand the deeper patterns behind wealth, consider this your personal invitation to subscribe. This is The Wealth Project, where we don't do celebrity gossip, we do celebrity success. If you want the breakdown on the psychology, mindset, and money moves behind the famous and successful so you can transform your own wealth, you're in the right place. The Pratfall Effect. By 2024, every feed was a curated museum. Every face smooth, every angle optimized, every body sculpted by AI, Ozempic filters, or surgery. Perfection became valuable. Then, Alix appeared, not polished but porous, not staged but spontaneous, not flawless but functioning in spite of the flaws. She dropped her guard and let the world witness the imperfections everyone else tried to hide. There's a name for this: the Pratfall Effect, the unexpected reality that people trust competent individuals more when they reveal imperfections. Because flaws signal humanity, and in an age of perfect faces built by AI and AI sculpted identities, humanity is the rarest commodity left. I'll be honest, I used to think influence came from being impressive and perfect and poised. But the more I've studied, the clearer it has become that the power shifts to whoever feels most human. Power in modern influence doesn't come from appearing superior. It comes from making people feel understood. Perfection creates distance. Imperfection creates connection. The unfiltered moment becomes the premium product. Alix didn't sell skincare. She sold recognition, the feeling of being seen in a world focused on perfection. And this identity shift rewired the entire influence economy. But the flaw was just the ignition. The real shift came from what she built on top of trust. Trust. Most influencers create distance, a velvet rope of polish and lighting and angles. Alix did the opposite. She turned the camera into a confessional. Close-up shots, no lighting rigs, eyes puffy from crying, hair undone, talking like she's whispering to a friend at 1 a.m. Your brain doesn't know its content. It registers proximity. It triggers mirror neurons. It simulates friendship. This isn't the usual one-sided connection. This is a bond that feels like real friendship, a deeper bond where the viewer doesn't merely admire the creator, they identify with them. And in 2025, people don't buy products. They buy the emotional safety created by the person recommending them. Alix earned trust by giving away something perfection culture never offered: permission to stop pretending. And I'll admit, this is one of those realities that has made me confront my own patterns. I used to think I had to over-polish everything, thinking it created credibility. Instead, it created distance, and it's something I'm still struggling with. What about you? Has this shifted how you think about influence or trust? Let me know in the comments. From renting to owning. Emotional proximity is only the second layer. The real boss move was what she did with that trust. Most creators rent their influence like Airbnb hosts renting out their house for the weekend. A brand pays, they post, the money disappears as fast as it came in. But Alix recognized something most never will. She wasn't a guest in this ecosystem. She owned the land. And landlords don't rent attention. They convert it into equity. By 2025, insiders whispered a different storyline. She wasn't chasing sponsorship deals. She was negotiating ownership stakes. She wasn't endorsing brands. She was incubating them. She wasn't a disruptor. She was building a distribution empire. This is where human nature meets wealth. Her tribe wasn't just watching, they were invested, emotionally, behaviorally, economically, because there was zero cost to reach them. There was no trust gap, and they bought fast. Drops sold out like sneaker releases. Partnership companies sought instant surges. Legacy brands scrambled to decode the formula. But ownership comes with risk. Manufacturing errors, supply chain failures, behind-the-scene chaos. Most creators fear that responsibility. Most stay renters. But Alix stepped into the arena anyway. And in doing so, she crossed the invisible line from influencer to owner. But none of this explains why it worked for her. The rise wasn't tactical. It was psychological. It was rooted in who she chose to become. The identity shift. Most people post on social media to get validation. They want likes, they want comments, they want people to tell them they're pretty, smart, successful. They want to be seen, admired, affirmed. But Alix flipped the script. She didn't post to get validation, she posted to give it. Every video she made said the same thing. It's okay if you're a mess today, so am I. And that tiny shift changed the power dynamic. The person who makes you feel better about yourself becomes the leader. The person who makes you feel safe becomes the one you trust. Think about it. Her audience was drowning in pressure. Pressure to look perfect. Pressure to have it all together. Pressure to be someone they weren't. And Alix walked in and said, "You don't have to be perfect. I'm not, and I'm doing just fine." She didn't just sell products. She sold relief. And relief is something people will pay for. But here's the sacrifice. Owning this identity requires consistency, courage, exposure. It means dealing with trolls. It means showing up on your worst days. And that's hard, but it's also why it works. The person who gives validation builds a tribe. Audiences watch, but tribes buy, they defend, and they stay. She didn't create a following, she created belonging. But there's still one piece missing, the one that elevates her from influencer to case study of wealth itself. The power of being real. By 2025, we live in a world where AI can generate perfect images in seconds. Perfect faces, perfect bodies, perfect lives. And because perfection became cheap, humanity became expensive. Alix Earle understood this before anyone else. She understood that in a synthetic world, the most real person wins. She didn't try to compete with the Kardashians. She didn't try to outpolish them. She went the opposite direction. She became the Anti-Kardashian, and it worked. People don't want to buy from perfect people anymore. They want to see the mess. They want to see the struggle. They want to see themselves. Alix didn't just sell products. She sold a feeling. You are enough, even when you're a mess. And in a world obsessed with perfection, that feeling is worth billions. From flaw to fortune. Alix Earle wasn't lucky, she was strategic. She turned imperfections into intimacy, intimacy into trust, and trust into ownership. She didn't follow the rules of influence, she rewrote them. And in a world flooded with perfection, she proved that the most powerful person in the room is the one brave enough to be real. By 2025, Alix isn't selling other people's products. She owns the brands. She went from influencer to founder to mogul. And she did it by leaning into her flaws, not fixing them. Your wealth shift. Here's a lesson we can learn from Alix Earle. She embodies the human signal identity, the rare archetype whose power comes not from perfection, but from showing what she really feels. She's the person who turns vulnerability into leadership and relatability into leverage. Her rise wasn't built on aesthetics, it was built on the law that who you are comes before what you do. Every choice she made reflected a deeper internal script. If I show you my truth, you'll trust me with yours. If you want to build wealth in 2026 and beyond, your next evolution isn't tactical, it's internal. You must shift from validation seeking to validation giving, from impressing to connecting, from hiding flaws to using them. People follow the person who helps them feel safe in their own skin. And every time you act from your true identity, not your fear, you widen the path of your own wealth. If Alix Earle has shifted how you see wealth, you're already activating the version of you who is meant for more. Your next wealth upgrade is one click away with The Wealth Project. Pick our latest insight or a curated favorite right here on your screen.